Back, guys, to another show, another 12th Man Live. Here with Dino today. Dino, you right, mate?
Yeah, fine, Ash. Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks for
Um,
asking me.
Talk about all the things that have been going on recently. Obviously, the lads are in Germany at the moment to complete a 10-day pre-season training, bonding, off-field session. What have we learnt so far whilst they've been away? So we can look at it. Toto is the next John Legend by the looks of it on the piano. Have you seen that, Dean?
I see that. Yeah, it's pretty good, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. Jordan Roberts looks like the next best barber with all his hair shaving techniques. Got Lambert's German lessons that just need a bit more oomph, I think. They've not really got much going for him, have they? Thomas Holy walks away from paintball without a single scratch, so I think that tells a lot about our shooting skills for next season, but let's hope they do a bit more.
Well, they're scared of him.
And obviously, the most important lesson is not to play Jack Lancaster at Monopoly because you will end up losing by the looks of it. But in terms of all of that, that's what we've seen from the social media accounts over the last week. Obviously, the guys are in Germany, but Dean, we talked about this a bit later on in the season, but we did envisage that Gherkin was going to Colchester. It looks like he's going to re-sign for the U's. What do you reckon about that?
Well, I think you said, didn't you? You told me he was going, Ash. So yeah, well done, mate. I don't think he's any loss, to be honest with you. I think he's decent shot stopper, but I'm happy if Bart stays. Obviously, I think with Holy, although I haven't seen Holy, but looking forward to some of the friendlies and seeing what he's like if he gets a run out. So
we'll get a bit more into that in a little while. But do you think Bart not moving on this summer has caused us a bit of problems in the transfer market?
Well, Lambert was asked that, wasn't he? But I don't. He said no, it's not an issue. Obviously, the wages with Bart has that sort of restricted us with obviously paying him, although he's obviously been reduced. I think he's lost about 50%, hasn't he? Is that to say the 50% sort of the wages were cut with with relegation? But you know, in my mind, you've got a good goalkeeper there in League One, so hopefully we can keep Bart. You know, he should be our first choice keeper, really, shouldn't he, in League One? Unless Holy pushes him, but you know there's competition, isn't there? If Bart stays, I'll be more than happy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly that. Moving on, Alan Judge links to QPR have been quashed by Lambert. Judge is obviously a key man going into next season, and obviously once fit, you'd expect him to be starting virtually every game next season, wouldn't you?
Definitely, he's crucial, Ash. I think Judge, quality player, absolute linchpin for the team. Hopefully this season, if he can stay fit and really sort of hit the ground running, what a quality player. So in League One, we're expecting big things from Judge. I think midfield wise, we've got a lot of strength there. So, but obviously we'll probably talk about that in a little while, won't we?
Yeah.
The other options we got, but Judge, critical, good player. So hopefully he'll obviously QPR take a run and jump. He's not going anywhere. He's staying with us.
No, they can't take our slim pickings, can they?
No.
In terms of what we've got up front then this season, we'll come on to signings in a minute. But do you think we need something else up front?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think obviously, what's the new boy called now? I forgot his name now. The new signing.
What, Norwood?
Norwood, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's his name, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, boys. Yeah, Norwood. That just left me there. But yeah, Norwood, obviously, really exciting signing. I think. Let's hope he can replicate that with us. We get him the service, and fingers crossed he could, be a really good signing for us. But who else we got? Caden Jackson. I expect him to be half decent in League One.
Yeah, I'd expect him to hit the ground running next season, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think League One. I think there's a good player in there. Especially in League One, and I think he's going to improve. He's got pace, he's got power, but a bit disappointed that we let Harrison go, to be honest with you, because I think there's a good player in there, and that might come back to bite us in the bum, so to speak. But who else we got?
Well, so I'm sure many of the people that are watching tonight, we would have talked about Ellis Harrison going, and it was pretty much a 50-50 split about how people felt when he did leave, but. You can't argue that he did have enough of a chance to make an impression in an Ipswich shirt. I think if you look at players that made more contributions, say Caden Jackson's got a lot more to offer on for Ipswich Town rather than what Harrison could do. But obviously an old flame of ours has been made available on a transfer, Daryl Murphy. Obviously, 36 years old, but that kind of player could be invaluable in League One. What do you reckon about us possibly re-signing him?
Yeah, I think just before that, quick, I'll just say if it was Caden Jackson or Harrison, I think we've kept the right player. I think Jackson is going to be. I expect big things from him this season.
Yeah,
Jackson definitely. So I think we kept the right player. But yeah, Murphy, 36, experience, power. I think if we could get him, that would be a good signing for League One, Ash, because he loves this club. He would be quite a good file up front, I think, with Norwood. I don't know who we'd play him, but
arguably the best player we've had in the last decade, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think Darryl's been a great sign. Fantastic. How many goals did he score in that?
He's near enough nearly on 60 goals for Ipswich when he left. But in terms of signings this summer, only 2 this summer. Obviously, a goalkeeper and a striker. A lot would be unhappy with that. But obviously, Paul Lambert's come out and said this week, I don't get the idea that people think there's money. Where's the money coming from? We can't buy anybody, that's the fact. But that's no problem because we have some really good young players. So we'll save the young players bit. But can you understand his frustrations as a manager?
Yeah, well, I think we knew that once we got relegated, it's a 9 million hit, I think, straight away, isn't it, in lost revenue. And obviously the fans done their bit. We've almost got 12,000, but we knew with Evans, he's just not prepared to put any more. He's keeping the club afloat, and respect to him from that. I think we need to say, yeah, he's keeping us afloat, but that's about it, isn't he? And I think his strategy, if there's a strategy, is to build the side around the youngsters, which is great. And then move on from there, but they've got to hit the ground running, haven't they, the young boys? And we supplement that with really good, astute free transfers or Bosmans, which Norwood, seems to be a very good signing. But I think we still need, another striker. That I think midfield we're well catered for. Perhaps he's looking at another fullback, isn't he?
Potentially, you just don't know at this moment in time. Obviously, we're not looking at paying transfer fees, but. Lambert also went on to say they may need a little bit of help. We can't go and buy anybody, regardless of what anyone thinks about deals done before my time and the knock-on money coming in. He can't make transfer dealings. So Town will net in excess of 2 million for Matt Clark and Tyrone Mings. That money's unlikely to go into transfer budget. It's going to go into Marcus Evans' back pocket because surely the guys is paying a lot just to keep this club afloat. If we have to keep getting free transfers, then so be it. But they need to be the right players, don't they?
Definitely, I think. You say the point with Mings, Clark, and who's the other one, who we could get a sell on? Webster as well. So we're getting the sell on with those, which is good job he done there, obviously.
Yeah.
But that money, I assume that Evans is just going to cut that 9 million that we're going to lose. I assume he's going to use 2 or 3 million there, whatever, just to cover the losses for that.
Yeah, of course, he's going to offset it. Any businessman would.
That's what he's doing, basically. And then, so we've got a very, very small budget.
We will get on to Evans, but obviously, let's just have a look back at the weekend. Obviously, we had our first friendly of the pre-season where we lost to Paderborn 3-2. Arguably a good side, Bundesliga side, you'd say, 2 divisions higher than Ipswich in the football pyramid, however you want to look at it. But, we 3-0 down, got 2 goals back. Most importantly, I think you've got to look at it and you say, like, a player like Jordan Roberts has come back in, not played any football since he left on loan towards the end of January. But do you think he's got a big part to play next season?
Jordan Rob, I think there's potential there. I quite liked when he came on and played up front, didn't he?
Yeah.
For us last season, I thought they looked a good player, good hold-up player. It's just scoring the goals, isn't it? But also he, as a winger. He originally came from, was it Crawley we got him from?
Yeah.
It was Crawley, so we got him as a winger. So League One, he could be, he could start to play and perform in League One. Hopefully, we need these players to perform, don't we?
Yeah,
they've got to step up now. You got Danny Rowe, is it Danny Rowe in there as well?
Yeah.
Who's looks quite exciting. So I think there's a nucleus of a fairly good squad there, I think, considering we haven't spent any money at all. We've got the young lads, so on paper, I think we could be quite competitive. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Well, you say that. Obviously, the players that didn't feature against Paderborn on Saturday, you've got obviously James Norwood, Alan Judge, John Nolan, Guion Edwards, and obviously Freddie Sears. All 5 big standout players for us that you'd expect to be in and around the first team every week. when fit.
Definitely, yeah. They weren't
but-
playing, were they?
No, exactly. And another big one is obviously Emir Hughes, which would be like a brand new signing if he was fit, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's the one that really excites me. If we got Judge, you get, to me, it's Judge, and Hughes would be the other sort of standout player in League One, wouldn't he, Ash? I think he's had a half, hasn't he? He's had 45 minutes. He'll perhaps get another game at the that tournament coming up. What's it called? That tournament? I can't think what it's called now.
In a Toto Cup, innit?
The other tournament. So hopefully he'll get a run out as well. But he needs to keep fit. Hopefully his knee will hold out, and if we can get him up and running, he'll be like a new signing, won't he?
Yeah,
quality
100%.
Quality player.
100%. But obviously, take the positives. But there's one big question that I've got to ask. Obviously, there was 12 academy products in the squad at the weekend. Obviously, 5 players have come back that we just previously mentioned. But if you take the 12 that we've got there, we've got Dazelle, Bishop, Lancaster, Kenlock, Emmanuel Downs, Wolfenden, El Mazzuni, Nydam, Indaba, Bailey Clements and Armando Dobra. The latter of the two, 18 years old, pushing for a regular first team spot. Lambert went on to say there are 2 ways to do it, either bring in loads of experienced players or use really good, young, talented players who have energy and enthusiasm as well as hunger for the game. That's the way we'll go. So I can completely agree with where Lambert's coming from there. He's saying let's use the youngsters, let's use what we've got. Yeah. That's one argument. But when I've spoken to Lambert in the past, he said when he got relegated, when he took on Norwich, after going to Norwich, after they got relegated, he inherited a team of championship players. And that's what got him promoted from League One. Now, we're coming down here with, you could argue that six or 7 of those have got championship experience.
Yeah.
Albeit that was in a relegation season. Are these players League One standard? Can they better themselves? Can they become better players? In my opinion, no doubt I've seen enough quality from some of those players to suggest they may even be above League One championship level. They may be even Premier League players. But they really seriously do need to kick on this season, don't they?
Definitely got to kick on. I think if you look at that list there, I've got high hopes for Lancaster. I think there's a good player there. Lancaster's one that excites me up front. Downs, I think Downs has got something about him. Dazelle's technically very gifted. Wolfenden coming back. There's some good. You go for that list, don't you? Kenlock, Bishop. Obviously, Teddy's got a point to prove now, coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Nydam, reckon he played him at fullback, didn't he? In that against the German side.
Yeah.
Nydam playing at fullback. Ndaba, don't know much about him myself. And Bailey Clements, I used to play with his dad actually. I think Bailey, and so it's good to see a local lad because he's an Ipswich boy and he's born and bred. Bailey Clements.
Well, there's a lot of local lads in there, but if I had to ask you a lot of question, and I'll ask you this, Dean, but just give me your answers here, guys. Out of the 12 academy products that played last season, who are you most disappointed with? Who was the one that didn't really kick on last season? The one that really worried you and poses possibly, no excitement going forward? I know it's probably a hard one, but I would have liked someone like Emmanuel to push on last season, be given more a chance. I know we brought in James Bree to guarantee him games from Villa.
Yeah.
But out of those, I'd probably say Dazelle and Emmanuel were probably the 2 disappointments for me last season.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think Dazelle, but I think you need to just give Dazelle a little bit of time and gain. And I think he'll turn. I think Dazelle, I have got high hopes for Dazelle. If his dad was a quality player, wasn't he? So he's got that gene. He technically is a very good player, and he can, defence splitting balls, and he can pass it. I think once he hopefully gets a run of games and gets established. But I think from what Paul Lambert's saying, we'll have no choice, and we're going to have to play these lads.
Well, yeah,
they're part of the squad, aren't they? So they're going to be in and out, and if they can nail down a place. So it could be exciting if they're going to start to perform, but they've got to, haven't they? They've got to hit the ground. We've got no choice to play with what we've got, haven't we?
Yeah. So Luke was saying there he's just only 20, but if we take into consideration the amount of time that Dazelle's been involved in the first team squad, Are we talking three or four seasons now since he broke in? Sporadic appearances during under Mick McCarthy.
A lot of talking, hasn't he?
Obviously, the guy that everyone was going to, he's the next, Dazelle, one of our own kind of thing.
Yeah.
But just to put it into context, the amount of games that Dazelle's played, Flynn Downs in one season has eclipsed what Dazelle has played for Ipswich Town twice over. So Downs has actually played twice the amount of games. Obviously, Dazelle's played in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think. Flynn Downs is more cut and thrust. He's got a bit more. He's got more. He's more of a sort of combative type player, isn't he, Flynn Downs? And I think that players like that can come in, and sometimes it suits their game more. But being very technically gifted, Dazelle, I think he needs to be played right, doesn't he? Is he going to track back and tackle and chase? But when you get that ball to him, some of the actual creativity from Dazelle. So I've still got high hopes for him. I think he perhaps needs a little bit more time. But yeah, at some stage they've got to step up, haven't they? Mm-hmm. How long can you say, they're going to be this, that, whatever? But I think patience, you've got to be certain, patience to a point. But, as fans, have we got to say this season, the first season back, is Lambert already making excuses in the sense that he's preparing us that we might need a season for these young lads to have a season to come into League One and then go for it a second season. I know some of the fans think we've got to hit the ground running. We all want to be in the top 6, don't we?
Yeah.
But there might be a reality check there, and I think Lambert's just preparing it for us because we've got no money to spend, have we? We've got to make do with what we got.
Obviously, he's come out in the last few days and said that kind of making media excuses that we've not got the money. Why do people expect us to be in the top 6? When behind closed doors, it's pretty apparent that the players know that their target is to win the division, get promoted. There's no shortfall there. In the camp, they know that they've got to get promoted, and if they don't do it, that'll be seriously bad news for this club. We cannot spend more than 1 year in League One.
No,
we haven't got parachute payments to rely on. We're probably at. Like I said, if we don't kick on from now, we're probably looking at the demise of Ipswich Town this season. If we don't move on from this division at the first port of call, we're going to find it seriously hard to get back in the Championship.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I suppose Sunderland would say the same thing. They want to go up straight away, but a big club, Sunderland, they've got a second season in League One, haven't they?
And don't forget, they're still relying on parachute. Just finish their parachute payments from the Premier League.
So no one's got a divine right, but we want the best for Ipswich. We've got great history. We know that, but we're in League One. That's the reality. And we've got an owner who doesn't want to spend any more and put in any more. So we're going back to basics. We've got a decent academy. I think he does invest more in the academy overall, doesn't he? As a percentage, he does keep the academy ticking over, and we still want Category 1 apparently.
Yeah.
But if we're going down that route, then with young players, we might have to be patient.
Yeah.
But they've got to tell the fans, but we are all expecting, to be honest, we're all expecting Ipswich Town League One. We've got to be competitive. We've got to be in the top 6, and with the fan base and moving forward, we want that, don't we? We want success.
Obviously, as a club, we have we do have the facilities and the potential to move forward, and would be really good to see the club to go forward this season, and promotion is definitely something we're looking at. But obviously there's perks, or maybe not perks, of being in League One. The EFL Trophy is another one that's coming up on Friday. The draw, we've had the draw today that confirms the 2 other teams that we will be facing. Obviously it looks like Colchester United will finally get to play at Portman Road competitively at some point in their history. I do remember the last time they come down. Didn't they beat us at Portman Road?
I think they did.
Kevin Lisby scored, didn't he?
That's when they were in the Championship, weren't they?
Yeah, they had a good. They had Paul Lambert was in charge.
Yeah.
Ironic that, isn't it? Ironic.
Good away day for him, wasn't it?
But I was a bit perplexed today. I didn't realise the EFL Trophy had a group stage. Did you know that?
Didn't know that. No, don't know much about that. Actually.
So look, if you haven't heard of how the EFL Trophy works, it's basically as simple as this: 64 teams from round 1, including 48 teams from League 1 and League 2, along with 16 Category 1 Premier League sides and 1 EFL Championship Academy Under-21 programme, come into the competition.
Not Norwich, is it?
We'll get onto that. The competition now features 16 regional groups of 4 teams. So with 8 groups in each of the northern and southern sections, with the top 2 from each group progressing through to knockout stages. The first 2 rounds which remain regionalised before an open draw from the quarterfinals onwards. During the group phase, if the scores are level at the end of the match, then penalties are taken immediately without recourse and or extra time. The winning team is awarded 2 points and the losing team 1 point. So that's after penalties. Our group is listed to consist of Gillingham and Colchester. So not far for us to travel on a Tuesday or Wednesday night if that is the case. And one of the following teams, and this could include Norwich, but it won't do because they won't put a public clash like that in the group stages. There's no need for it.
No.
So we'll probably see sides such as Arsenal, West Ham, Tottenham, or perhaps even Chelsea in the group stage of the EFL Trophy. Now, what I want to ask you, Dean, is the EFL Trophy more of a hindrance in this kind of format than it is, something that we look forward to?
Yeah, I don't know really. You put me on the spot on that one, Ash, because I give it no thought at all about this particular trophy. But yeah, is it a hindrance? It's like the thing, we're best off out of the cups and concentrating the league type scenario.
The thing is, if you look at a club like Portsmouth last season, won the EFL Trophy, they've done something for their fans. They brought a bit of, bit of something to the club. We'd love a trip to Wembley.
We wouldn't turn it, would it be great following?
Obviously, we've got the FA Cup final and League Cup final to get out of the way first. Joking.
Yeah.
Obviously, jokes aside, but we've got FA Cup, we've got League Cup, EFL Trophy. That's 3 competitions itself. The league as well. That's 4 competitions. We could be looking to play 60 plus games this season.
Yeah, it's the squad,
if you have a successful. Well, this is the thing. You've got to use. Obviously, you've potentially got to use your youngsters in those games to give them experience.
Give them experience.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's. To give him the extra experience, that's probably what I would imagine he would do. Cause the focus is the league, isn't it? The focus, we've got to get back at the league. You've got to get back in the championship, and from there onwards. So that's the focus. So I would imagine some of the fringe players, so to speak, would be used in this competition because you're not gonna. It's a long season, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've got to make sure that we focus on the important thing is it's crucial we focus on getting out of League One. And it's going to be hard, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's not going to be easy in League One. But yeah, I'm reasonably optimistic. You've got to be to start with, but we don't want to, like you say, mate. We don't want to be bogged down in League One, do we?
No, not at all.
We've got to, if the gods are on our side, get out at the first attempt, and then we can move on and forget about League One and move forward. But with Evans in charge again, there's a big question mark for me with Evans in charge of the club. But with Lambert, I think we've got a decent manager. It's going to be up to him how he sort of like jiggles the side, but I still think we need a couple more signings, experienced players. So there you go.
This is a question that's been burning on my mind for weeks and weeks, and every time Evans gets brought up, I always sits in the back of my mind and think, do I say it or don't I? So I'm going to say it now, and for those that probably aren't aware because they've not seen it or they're in their lifetime they've not seen a club without Marcus Evans. When did this club start losing money, Dean?
When did it start losing money? We've always been pretty thingy about losing money, haven't we?
Yeah. But when did we start losing money, Dean? Was it prior to Marcus Evans coming in, or was it post Marcus Evans' appointment?
Well, we obviously had that problem when Sheepshanks was in charge, didn't we? We had when we went to liquidation or whatever.
Administration in the Premier League.
That's it. We've always had these little, but I think that was the thing, wasn't it? When we went to the Premier League, Sheepshanks. Then we built the people are saying, we built the North and the Churchman stands, but I think we needed to do it.
Yeah, that wasn't at a detriment to the club, was it?
Well, this is what people have said. We spent 25 million on the 2 new stands when we were in the Premier League. Obviously, we went down, didn't we? So that's the start of the slippery slope, wasn't it? Really.
And I was speaking to the Sun. I had an interview with the Sun last season, and they asked me that question. They said, did European football destroy Ipswich Town? And I 100% say yes, it did. Because when we increased our squad size and we took all those gambles that weren't for the right reasons, not at all. We had the players at the time. We gambled too much. and we found ourselves in a horrible, horrible situation after what was probably the best 3 or 4 year spell we'd had in a long time.
Definitely, yeah.
But we're still, to this day, suffering from that period of time in the club.
You could probably say, yeah, that's true to a point. Yeah,
2000. I'd probably say there's about 10 or 15 people watching this that weren't even born when that happened.
Yeah.
And
they can't remember it or don't know enough
and
about it.
we are still struggling to get out of that rut. Now, so then I put that question to the guys: is Marcus Evans to blame for the situation that we're in today? Because I struggle to keep up with that concept. I know a lot of people got some heavy words to say about Evans. I know, Dean, you're not a massive fan of Marcus Evans.
I'm not a fan, but I just think, since he's been in charge of the club, he runs the club. He's the owner. He picks, hires and fires the managers. Under his stewardship, we've had one attempt at the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That was a missed opportunity when we should have that was just, I think, he's the thing. He's not a football man, and I he does help the club. He props the club up to a point, but you've got to say it starts at the top, doesn't it? There's top downward, and we've had a period of decline under him. Yeah. And I think you're right, it was starting before that, that decline, and he's came on board. We were all flashing the cash. Marcus is coming here. He's tried to spend money. He's got the wrong managers in, Keane, Jewell. We've all talked about it. We all know the situation of the club, and it's been a decline, isn't it? But, the Phoenix does rise from the ashes sometimes, and I think we just got to be positive and hope we can move forward.
And I think it's in positive. We've got to remain positive because what's happened at the club in the last 6-7 months since the appointment of Lambert, obviously Stuart Taylor, Matt Gill and Jim Henry, those guys have absolutely changed things around. Obviously, Liam Neal as well.
The connection
between the fans and the club is at an all-time high.
That's a positive. So we've got to build on that, haven't we?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think those guys, Lambert. People might think he's phony. I don't know, but Lambert but I think is he going to be Lard or us? I hope he's found his spiritual home at Ipswich. He feels settled here, and let's hope that he can build the side and obviously get promotion at the first attempt.
Yeah.
With the players we've got. That's the only thing I'm a bit worried that we can't really supplement the side too much because there's no money. Mm-hmm. If we do need to go out and buy it's got to be on the cheap, and it's got to be a lot of the youngsters have got to step up. So it's a bit of a gamble, no guarantees, but we've got to start optimistic, I think, and see how we get on. See how we go.
And people are saying obviously a good start to the season would guarantee success, maybe. First 3 to 5 games are very important. We've got to make a stamp and definitely have to beat we have to go to Burton and get a result.
Hit the ground running.
Whether that be a draw or win, I'll be happy with that. But Sunderland at home, you've got to turn them over and show everyone what they're going to be getting at Portman Road this season, don't you?
Yeah, that would be a fantastic. The atmosphere there. I don't know, what do you think we're going to get? 20,000 for Sunderland?
I'd say so.
Would you? Yeah, the 20.
We've got 12,500 season ticket sales so far.
First home game, so they'll bring a couple down. Sunderland, big club. It's going to be sort of 20, isn't it? So yeah, we need to hit the ground running, I think.
Yeah. 100%. Obviously, we've got friendlies coming up thick and fast now, and obviously the guys will come back to England towards the end of this week. But obviously next Friday we've got Colu away. Obviously we may get a test of what kind of their squad they've got for the EFL Trophy. Obviously we're going to play them competitively this season. But I'll be at that one, and that'll be the first match day vlog of the 1920 season. So if you do see me, come and have a word. We'll have a chat. Big Ronnie, I saw you a minute ago, mate. So hopefully I'll see you there. But in the meantime, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you can. All the socials are below. Also, the season ticket raffle is going strong. We just hit £200 on that. So if you just go into the description below, you'll see that you can still buy your tickets for £2.50 for the season ticket raffle. In with a chance of winning your own season ticket or having yours paid off. And that'll be at the courtesy of myself and Tri Financial. So, get your tickets in, and hopefully you can get that season ticket paid off. But I'll be announcing the winner at the ITFC Open Day. I'll be going to that one as well, 25th of July. You going to that one, Dean?
I might go Ash, yeah. I don't think I'm going to have a pitch with Paul Lambert, though.
Don't get any pictures with any managers, mate.
Paul Hurst.
You're such a curse. You're a curse, mate.
He's my best mate, Paul Hurst, you know.
You were just twins, that's all, mate. Yeah, at the end of the day, open day is a really, really fun day. If you can get down to it, I would highly recommend it. You get to see all the players in action. You get to meet your favourite players, have pictures. There's so much to do for everyone there. So many stalls. It's normally a lovely hot day, isn't it? Most of the time.
Lucky most of the time. Yeah.
So yeah, get to see squad photos and stuff like that. Something you wouldn't usually see. So make sure you get down to Portman Road for the 25th July, Thursday it is. I think it's school holidays, isn't it? Should be, shouldn't it?
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of that, I'm looking forward to seeing you all. So yeah, give me a shout if you see me. But in the meantime, come on you Blues.
Come on, you Blues.